Carl and Brendan here from Games, Brains and Head-Banging Life, gbhbl.com for short. And you've seen the title. This is not band related. This is festival related. We're going to have a little look at the best and worst parts of Bloodstock 2022. The things that we loved, the things that we didn't. Some of it, much of it, completely out of Bloodstock's control. Other bits that perhaps they could have done better with. It's a conversation back and forth. We're going to pick certain areas, such as facilities, stage management, food, drink, all of that, and just sort of give you a spitball back and forth about things we liked and things we didn't particularly like. So I'm going to throw out one straight away as a worst, which is totally not Bloodstock's fault at all in the slightest. In fact, it's nothing to do with them. But we started our journey to Bloodstock stuck in horrendous traffic shortly after crossing the Dartford tunnel, going through the tunnel of the Dartford onto the M25, and just hit horrendous traffic that delayed us by about an hour. And that was a shit start to the day. Yeah.
Yep, I agree. It is shit. It's always the worst, isn't it? Just like, we weren't even far. That's the thing, man. There's nothing worse than that. Like, we literally, for me, this is like 10 minutes into my journey. And then I'm just like, oh, I'm not moving.
Yeah. Yeah, we were stationary for a long period of time as well. But thankfully, kind of make up a bit of time.
Yeah, we made up the time. Like, thankfully, I had it. Obviously, I had it both ends as well because I had it coming home as well. So my journey to Bloodstock took an hour and a half longer than it should, and my journey home took like 5 hours longer than it should. So luckily, the bit in the middle was good.
Yeah, thankfully it was that very much the case, because that was a shit experience. But of course, I think the first thing we'll then talk about is the VIP section, because we stayed in VIP. Pretty much exactly the same as it's been for the last couple of years. Same setup. It wasn't usual because we got there later because of that delay. We ended up in the other field, the sort of runoff period for the cars, and we were like,
"Oh yeah."
Before it was weird.
Yeah, it was quite concerning. It was like, shit, is it this busy already?
Yeah.
I get like so confused with this whole thing. I mean, we don't leave the house late. We got a long drive to go, so we're on the road quite early. And the theory is that based on the publicized times that we arrive traffic dependent, but we arrive before the gates even open.
Yeah.
So to then turn up there and be like, well, not only are the gates open, but everyone seems to have pitched their tent. But we arrived, even with the traffic, we still arrived roughly around the same time that we normally do.
Yeah.
We weren't that much different because we didn't stay at the services for as long and, put our foot down a little bit. So, I'm starting to think, like, what do we have to do? Do we have to leave at 3 a.m? Do we have to get there for like 7?
Yeah, it creates this almost tense feeling because you're like, oh God, are we going to struggle for space? There's a group of us. There was the equivalent of 5 tents this time that we kind of want to pitch together. And like, it's like, shit, we're going to like have enough room and all that, perhaps we oversell that in the sense that VIP is a decent size. And we certainly didn't struggle to get things up at all. The actual same setup, no problem with it. It was nice to get everything up. It was comfortable. It felt exactly like it always does.
Yeah. Yep. Very familiar. Like I said, once you get in there and you get past the shock of it, you start seeing spaces around and, it was all fine, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. What about things like the toilet facilities, showers, the new food stall that existed in the VIP?
Right, toilets, and obviously I'm one who likes to complain, were fucking brilliant. Absolutely as near to immaculate as you can expect of a festival toilet. To be honest, they were clean regularly, always had toilet paper. I I operate in a slightly different sort of schedule to most people because I get up early.
Yep.
So, I was going over to the toilet, I go over there like, I don't know, 6 a.m. I'd go in there and the toilets are spotless. I've never had that before. I might have it later on in the day when the cleaners rock up, but because they was in there cleaning them the night before, like late at night, I was going over there and like the toilets are fucking immaculate. I wouldn't, but I did say something at one point, like, I would eat my dinner in here. Like, but I wouldn't. It wasn't that clean. But yeah, so I was really impressed. I complained like fucking hell last year about the toilets. Like, they're absolutely fucking vile. And this year I thought they was as good as a festival toilet can be. Showers are the showers again. Like, the only thing that changed with the showers is whether like you got to wait for a long time or not. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
And again, because I operate in a different schedule, I'm kind of like, I go over to the showers, I just walk into there. I'm usually back at the camp. you know, with something to eat for breakfast, a coffee, having been to the toilet and had a shower by like 6:45 or 7 o'clock. You know, other people, from what I gather, still the same. Like, you know, there was a couple of busted ones. I mean, the first shower that I went into, like the pipe was hanging off the wall. So whenever you turn the shower on, it all pissed out of the pipe instead. So you had to stand there and hold the pipe against the wall. And if you did that, then it come out of the shower. But, you know, I'm not that bothered about it. It's one little thing.
Yeah, on those two fronts, I kind of agree with you. I didn't really, I certainly always avoid the VIP toilet early in the morning when the men are all queuing to spend half an hour shitting their guts out and bringing books in there and that kind of thing. So I tend to just avoid all of that. Showers actually made use of differently this time. I used them late at night rather than early in the morning. I did notice there was a lot more, the queues in the morning when I'd passed them by, it felt like they were bigger, but I actually think that was probably related to the heat. I think people who may not normally, saying everyone's dirty, but people who may not shower as often at a festival were showering a lot more because of the sweat and the heat, and it was a chance to cool down and aspects like that. But having like late night showers that I was doing, I fucking loved. Like, that's something I'm doing no matter what. It was a great thing just before I went to bed, and aspects like that. So yeah, while again, it looked to be the same amount, I still think they need to add another block of toilets. I really do think they do. Because the amount of people in VIP, stop some of the queues and things like that. But to be honest, man, it's a small thing. It really is. Did you make use of the shop?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, pretty much every morning that I was there.
Okay.
Like, well, I mean, I had a coffee from there. Like, everything was okay. That's the thing. Like, nothing was like extortionate. I mean, it's expensive for like a normal world, but I mean, from a festival price thing, you know. I was getting like a bacon roll and a coffee for like 7-8 quid or whatever like that, which is kind of the norm. You know, the food was good. They weren't like tight on it. You know, the big old bread roll sometimes, which was almost like the biggest problem because it's a lot of bread. And in the heat, that's like eating sand.
Yeah.
You know, but you get a bacon roll and, you know, they were sticking like 4, 5, 6 rashers of bacon on it, you know, which is like, oh, okay. So they ain't cheaping out on us. The coffee, was again, like, you know, ain't gonna live up to any kind of coffee or like enthusiast expectations. I would get a latte from there with an extra shot in it. Pretty sure 3 times I did that. I'm pretty sure 2 I got the extra shot, and the other one I definitely didn't because it was weak as fuck, and the 2 around it weren't.
Right.
You know, so there was a little bit of that. I spoke to the people in there in the morning again because I'm kind of there as they're opening up the shutter and all that, you know, so it's quite friendly. I found them to be friendly and like pleasant to talk to and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I was quite happy with it.
Cool. Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad. Okay, let's move our way into, let's talk Serpent's Lair specifically. Let's focus on that. So we're talking about the inside the tent, the drinks, the vibe and stuff like that. I thought, but comparing it to last year, I thought it was fantastic this year. Although there was nothing really different, it never felt as crazy busy as it did last year. Even at late at night, it felt quite chilled and relaxed. Or I didn't see much in the way of entertainment or things like that because I was just going to bed and feeling quite tired. Whenever I was in there, it felt like we were able, even during busy times, to grab a seat on a bench if we wanted to, you know, and aspects like that. I never went into the tent and queued long for a beer. The choices were immaculate, even though I wasn't really doing ales because all I wanted was constantly give me a cold fucking lager. And it felt like often the coldest ones you were getting were from there as well. So really enjoyed that as well. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I had no complaints with it because I didn't really notice, you know, that it was less busy or anything like that. But I think it was just weird this year because people gathered in pockets, didn't they? Because people were like hunting shade. Like, you know what I mean? Like everywhere you went, like there'd be big open patches, and then everyone kind of gathered up against the bin, you know, because the bin's giving a tiny bit of shade. Yeah, I thought the bar staff were fine. I think they were quite inconsistent on the first couple of days in terms of drinks. Well, like, which was getting a bit confusing. Like, so for example, the first 3 times I got a vodka Red Bull in that bar, the first day I got given tiny shot of vodka in a small Red Bull cup and a whole can of Red Bull, like given the can.
Oh, okay.
The next time I got one, I had a massive cup, you know, the big Red Bull cup, and it was filled up to the top with vodka, Red Bull, and loads of ice and everything like that. And it was fucking delicious. It was absolutely refreshing. And then the next time I got one, I just got a small cup with vodka Red Bull already poured into it. And I know that's not the whole can, but I didn't get the rest of the can. And I was like, every time I went there, I was like, you know, what am I going to get?
Yeah,
So that was like a little bit. It's like, no, I kept ordering another one because I wanted that big cup again. Like, give me that big cup with all the ice and everything like that,
yeah.
you know. But you know, I had a couple of conversations with people behind the bar there. You know, I thought it was friendly again. Not like you said, no real problems with queuing or anything like that for it. We did watch. We watched the Meatloaf tribute.
Of
Me,
course.
myself, and the missus just for a bit of a laugh. Like I said, it's fun. You know, I think one night when I was sitting back there with Nick, I can't remember what they were doing, but there was a lot of like, I don't really understand the point of it, but that's because I'm miserable. There was a lot of playing like non-metal stuff. It was all about
Oh, that stuff. Yeah.
like and that's what I don't call metal or something they were calling it. It was like a
Right.
2-hour DJ set playing like fucking pop songs and stuff, and everyone's like dancing, having a laugh, and I get that, have your fun and all that, but I don't get it. You know what I mean? I didn't come here to listen to fucking Michael Jackson and George Michael and shit. Jesus Christ. You got to do it. Like, you know, it's a 2-hour fucking DJ set. Seriously, man. But a lot of people seem to be enjoying it and that. So, you know, yeah, I was happy with it. I thought it was good. I like the toilets in there anyway. I like the urinals set up
Quick
in
in
there.
it. Quick
Yeah,
rotation.
absolutely.
I like it.
Yeah. So yeah, very happy with it.
Cool.
Very happy.
Two things I want to go to here specifically, not just one of them is more wider range, but I think it's best talked about here. First, I want to ask about the two places inside the VIP Serpent's Lair area. So you have Monk's Hood, the regular coffee place. Did you drink there?
No.
Okay, cool. I did. I love that place because obviously it does really good coffee, a bit more professional stuff like that. I will say it felt like they were super slow this year, slower than I've ever seen them. My wife's shaking her head over there. Why? Why are you shaking your head? She says they were fine. Okay, maybe that's just me and my impatience for a cup of coffee. She says they were fine. Okay, no worries. But the food place next to it was, well, I'm gonna be straight up with this. Two things happened that I just did not like. One was when I was getting my food, they had a wireless issue that meant they had to quiet and sort out. So the bloke that was doing the food preparation went up to sort it out. The woman who was doing the cash started to do the food with the same gloves she was wearing. And it was like, that is, come on, man, touching money, touching food. Don't do that. Don't do that at all. Yeah. The second was, I was in the queue, I think Sunday, and he shouted out to the guy at the end of the queue, me, no one else after you. I'm like, what? Okay. Everyone continued to try and join the queue. I spent the next 2 minutes trying to tell everyone, sorry, he said no one after me. Now look at me like I'm fucking lying, like I'm stupid, like I'm insane. I just gave up. I went, you know what, mate? I said, the last bloke who came over, I said, you know, I've had enough of this. You take my spot. I'm just going to get something inside the arena. When the hell did I become the guy that had to stop everybody? You want that to happen? You do it. I ain't getting paid to do that. But it was just like, I felt like I felt like I was being rude to people. Oh, he said no one else after me. And they're like, what? And they're obviously looking like, why? I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like, I don't know. And the problem by that point, I was still like 6 away from like the front. So I'm picturing like, I'm going to have to do this for much longer. So I just gave up. Didn't like that either. So yeah, not blown away by those dudes. And the food what I did eat there was all right. It was nothing special. The other major one I want to talk about that combines camping, our camping area, the entry to Serpent's Lair from camping and the entry to the arena, security. Yep. So I've seen a lot of debates over whether or not the quality of security overall anyway, positives and negatives. And I wanted to ask your specific experience in regards to, do you think they were good at checking wristbands to get into the Serpent's Lair VIP from the arena, and the same at the campsite?
Into the campsite, not at all. I don't think there were any checks whatsoever.
Terrible.
Coming back into the Serpent's Lair from the arena, it depended on the person. So, for example, on the Sunday, there was a big geezer there who was on it.
Oh,
like,
I know the
checking
one.
everybody.
Yep.
Yeah. But a lot of the other time now, like, they didn't care. I'd walk in there doing that and they'd be like, all right, don't worry about it. You know, they didn't give a crap. You know, I didn't really pay an awful lot of attention to it, to be honest with you. A part of me is like, you know, look, sitting in chairs, fucking hot and all that sort of stuff for them as well. So, you know, and like you said, Serpent's Lair weren't so rammed. It weren't like there were thousands of people coming through or nothing like that. So,
okay, I agree and I disagree a little bit. So maybe I'm just being a bit of a dick here, but man, no, fuck that. I paid for this privilege. If you're going to make it so that anybody can just wander in because you're too hot and bothered, you know, to fucking look. Right, so 100% with you. Camping, that was something I actually paying attention to. Well, I actually went out my way at one point to be like, and the guy just was like that. And I was like, okay, cool. So anybody can just wander in here then. Weirdly enough, where is the hottest wristband checks was from camping into the Serpent's Lair. Every time there, it felt like it was they were super hot on it, directing people who were in camper vans and that to go like that. What you said on the entrance that's where it should be its hottest, from the arena into it. And you were right. There were times I walked past a group and they were just talking amongst themselves. I could have been anybody. Other times it was proper shit hot as well. So yeah, that hit and miss aspect kind of is annoying.
Because there's no consistency there. Yeah,
absolutely. So that's kind of why I wanted to bring it up. But that's all. I mean, to be honest, man, it wasn't that big of a deal overall. I never felt unsafe or in trouble or anything like that. But you do hear stories of robberies occurring in the main stuff and all that. And I'm not saying we won't get robbed in the VIP. I'm really not. But I suspect thieves are unlikely to spend the VIP money way in advance to plan a load of robberies as if we're richer or something. Oh, well, they're going to have gold bullion in there because that lot paid VIP. You know what I mean? It's that kind of thing. But yeah, it'd be nice to know if checks are being occurred. And obviously as well, after main bands, VIP, people are going to chance it. People are going to be like, oh, I want to get in a party. I want to go in there and do that sort of stuff. So that's where I suspect it's probably its hottest. But there you go. Let
me just my only other security thing is so my missus ordered a slab of road crew to pick up, and we spent a good couple of days trying to figure out where the fuck you meant to pick it up from. Nobody knew, and then we finally found out that it's in one of the camps. It was in Midgard. So we had to go into Midgard. We went round, we picked up the beers, all that was fine. They were ice cold, all that, it was really good. And then we come back into the arena, obviously. And now I've got a crate of beer in my hand.
Yeah.
So not dissing the guy, because I absolutely understand what he was trying to do, but he was like, "Oh, you can't come in with that, security guy." And I said to him, "Right, look, VIP wristband. Here's the confirmation, from what we just picked up. We were told we had to go and pick it up from there. All I'm going to do now is walk it straight back through VIP and put it at my tent."
Yep.
And he said, he didn't know. He was like, "I don't think you can do that. I think you're going to have to walk out through Midgard, out to the road."
Yep.
And then walk all the way around. And I was like, in that case, I'll just put it back and I'll spend my money back. I ain't doing that. Ain't that fucking bothered about these 8 beers.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then he called another guy who had a purple shirt on, which I think are the supervisors or something like that. And he came over and he was going, no, you can walk through. You're going to cut through. And he was going, "You're definitely going to go straight through to VIP." And I was like, "Well, yeah, I am, but unless you follow me, you ain't going to know that, are you?" I'm not going to go, "No, I'm not really going to." Of course, I'm going to say yes. And then he called another one over. So now I had 3 of them. We had 3 of them around us, all debating it. And one was going, "Look, these are right. If they're picking up the beers and they got the VIP wristband, you can let them use the arena as a cut through." And I was just standing there now and I was like, "Can I go?" And they were like, "Just wait for a minute." And then they kept on the conversation. I was standing there for about 10 minutes while they debated it. And then I just left. And I don't even know if they noticed that I walked off. At some point they would have stopped their conversation, turned around and gone, "Right, we've made a decision." "Oh, where's he gone?" I mean, yeah, so that was it wasn't a horrible experience. It was quite comical. It was watching these 3 kind of the Chuckle Brothers sort of going "What do you think?" "Oh, I don't know." And it went on for so long and they were doing it. I'd already walked past them, so they were doing it behind me, and I was just standing there watching. And then I just I just said to Gemma, just fucking go. Do you know what I mean? We'll just walk off. But then I guess if you talk about the inconsistency, I then walked into Serpent's Lair with that crate of beer in my hand without a single challenge. So,
ooh, interesting.
You know what I mean? You'd be thinking, oh, maybe if I'm going to be picked up for that, because I said to her, we're going to get stopped by every fucking security person now, all the way through. But then we just walked all the way through without anyone saying another word. So.
Yeah, you're right. It's one of those where it's oh no, they were doing their job. It's weird, but the whole silliness of it all. Oh no, absolutely. Okay, let's focus on the specific things in the arena. Let's talk food in the best and the worst sort of scenarios. The best things you ate, the worst, and obviously, I know it's a hot bone of contention. Obviously, what appeared to be some price gouging.
Yeah, I didn't experience it myself, but I've seen a lot about it, and I 100% believe it would have been happening. The only time I saw it was on drinks. I saw the price of bottles of water go to ridiculous levels. Yeah. I think the one place I saw on the Sunday was selling for £3.40 for a bottle of mineral water. Whereas I don't know about the same place, but we picked up a couple of bottles of mineral water. Every morning I picked up a bottle of mineral water from that place where I got my coffee and my roll. you know, and I was paying like 182 quid for those big smart water bottles.
Yeah.
You know, so then to be walking out there and seeing like a small bottle of Volvic or fucking Evian or whatever for like nearly 4 quid, you're like, that ain't right, man. What the fuck? You know, so I didn't really experience it too much myself because I was quite aware, and I didn't eat at a massive range of places this year. I ate at the Bunny Chow, which was absolutely delicious. Really, really enjoyed it, and it was very fucking filling, especially because there's so much bread with it anyway. But it was very, very nice. I also ate at the burrito place where you could get like the nachos and burritos. I got a burrito from there. I ate the Yorkshire pudding, you know, the big Yorkshire pudding place, and I ate at the smokehouse once as well. So they're the 4 places I ate.
That's variety, man. That's 4 very, very varied foods.
Yeah. I usually try out more stuff, to be fair, but like I do think it was heat related. Like even at times when I hadn't eaten for like 8 hours or something like that, I wasn't always feeling particularly hungry. You're kind of eating because you're like, you know, I know I haven't eaten. I must, even though I don't feel like eating.
No, I get that, particularly when a lot of the food is hot options as well. That became a real problem for me. It's why I avoid a lot of the things. Usually, I spend a lot of time at the Texas Smokehouse. I think I ate there twice over the weekend. 1 burger and chips, 1 hot dog at a certain point. I think they were both very late at night when it was a bit cooler. I also noticed the price gouging on the ice cream vans. I'm going to call them that. It's the ice cream vans more than anything else that I noticed. In particular, it was like, here, 3 quid for a carton water. When I queried why these, he made something about Bloodstock forcing them because they want to save the planet. And I was like, all right, yeah, okay then. Right. That sort of nonsense. I want to give massive props to the slushy place for not fucking gouging when they clearly could have. Their prices stayed exactly the same over the entire weekend, offering a large slushy, which only is just ice and fucking water with some flavor in it, but it was very fresh, refreshing in this heat. And it was £5.50, a nice big cup of it. Went on Sunday and it was the same price. And it was like, good on you. That's amazing. The place I ate the most at, because basically I ended up at one point going, you know, I'm going to go get a burrito, and they were selling like a summer cool breeze one, where it was basically all sort of like cold stuff in it. It was where I sat on my own and VIP eating it. We all thought I was being moody, and it wasn't. I was just fucking eating the burrito in peace. That kind of thing. That was what I was eating then, and I loved it. So later on, I went back there and I ordered the nachos as well. I did nachos and a burrito, and while it was expensive, I think it was like 12 quid. For like a big plate of nachos, the portion size and what they offered, like big loads of guac, big lots of sour cream, like it was really, really stuff.
Gemma had nachos from there as well at one point. And like it was a big portion size. Like, luckily for me, like it works out well, doesn't it? Because I'm like, oh sweet, I'll finish off half of them.
Yeah, you get the leftovers. Yeah, and Sunday our major meal was nachos and a bean and cheese burrito. We couldn't finish the bean and cheese burrito after the nachos. That's how filling it was. So I ended up eating there 3 times over the entire weekend. That was my predominant thing, and I loved it. I thought it was great fucking value as well.
It's the first place I ate. I had a steak burrito or steak chili burrito in there, and it was it was very, very tasty.
Staff were wicked as well, man. Staff were wicked. I got there with my first one, and I think they dropped a vat of rice directly behind them as I arrived at the counter. But it's still sort of carried on, like doing it and stuff like that, serving and stuff. So props to them as well. Not so props to the place that I can't remember the name of, but it was near the slushy stand that I went in the morning. It was the morning of where I got pissed off about having to protect the queue. And I went into the arena. I was like, let me just grab something there. I was hungry. I needed to eat something. And it cost me £8 for a bacon bap with 3 bits of bacon in it. And it was like, okay, I felt very, very ripped off by that one. You know, I paid it, you know, I'm the idiot, but that was where I was at my most unhappiness. Me and Luke, she had the rat place, the one near the New Blood, you know, the one, the Pitters thing. The one
I
ate there as well. Lou had that, but she got spicy food. So we ended up swapping it over, and I ate her halloumi, like whatever it is. What's that food called? Falafel wrap. And oh my god, it was so fucking spicy. Like, and I like spicy food, but it was like, oh my god, it's super hot outside. I'm sitting in the New Blood tent trying to eat this spicy falafel wrap. Fucking horrible. It was great food though. They do, the portions huge, so like credit to them, you know. And that was it. That was all I ate. But I got no complaints about the food. I thought the range was cool. I could see lots of the usual, lots of people eating things like Bunny Man. I mean, I've got to try that one year, but most of what that's in it is not for me. So that's why I tend to avoid it.
I mean, they do a vegan one in there.
Yeah.
You know, like which I didn't have obviously, but you know, they have like for me because I'm all right with the mincemeat and all that. You know, they basically I'm choosing by heat.
Yeah.
You know, so and they got like one which is like, you know, apparently like nuclear level, and then there's one which is like no heat. You know, but then what they'll do is when you speak to them, they'll say like, yeah, how much heat do you want? Like, because what they can do is they go, right, we put a bit of the really hot one in there and then top it up with the rest, so you get like a medium heat. So I said to them, like, just not too hot, man. Like, it's too hot out here. I don't really need my mouth on fire. So I was like, just predominantly do the no heat. But even the no heat one was quite hot. I was sitting there, Gemma was like, oh, that looks really nice. And I was like, yeah, you can't eat this. But you know, it is good food, man. Like, you know, you got like all the options afterwards. They're like, do you want, you know, like salsa on it? Do you want cheese on it? It's like not liquid cheese, it's proper grated cheese. Do you want sour cream? All that sort of stuff, you know. And then it's filling, and actually for the price, it's 10 quid for it. It's always 10 quid. It's always been 10 quid, as far as I'm aware, anyway. And again, the price didn't change, but it is a main meal. You know, you're talking half of a baguette and a massive portion of chili. You know,
it does look very filling. Yeah,
you'd have to try it out. I think you'd like it. And the vegan one looks fucking delicious, to be fair, as well.
I think I will. I think I'm going to set myself this goal next year to try and eat in different places, because obviously there's a lot of foods I avoid because of festivals anyway. You know, things that people are like, I'm eating a whole turkey.
Fried chicken.
Like chicken. Right? I'm like, I really don't want to do that. I don't want to biscuit. But I tend to avoid like.
I thought like the food places in general, quality of food. Our missus ate at the pie place a lot, you know. But like from a portion size, I felt like I didn't feel knocked at any point, and I felt like the food was of a decent standard.
Yep.
Obviously, one of our bugbears of many years what didn't exist this year. There was went from 3 easy cheesies last year to no easy cheesies this year.
Well, I found something out. They were there. They've rebranded.
They changed their name. Is that the place? Because I was going to say there was one place doing liquid cheese,
which
I didn't know who they were. Okay.
Right, but right behind, obviously, the main stage, sound stage, there was something called there, but that's Easy Cheesy rebranded. I found out. I saw it in a comment, and I was like, "Oh fuck!" I never obviously went there because I'm not eating your liquid. Even if you're not Easy Cheesy, I'm not eating your fucking liquid sliced cheese. I'm not doing it. But yeah, apparently that's them rebranded.
Okay. But like on the food places, then my only gripe, like, but it's not to do with the food, is to do with the drinks at all of these places. I felt twice at 2 different places I got really quite annoyed with the people that were working there, because they all have a big fucking sign that says ice cold drinks, and then they all have like a fridge full of drinks. And I would always say to them, like, because a few times we went up and just bought like a bottle of Fanta or a bottle of water or something, you know, something like that.
Yep.
And I always said to them first, I was like, "Are your drinks cold? Like actually cold?" And they would go, "Yeah." And I'd go like, "I can have a bottle of Coke and a bottle of Fanta." Pay for it. They'd go and get them out of the fridge, give them to me, and then they'd go like, "Oh, they're not as cold as we'd like them to be," and they're fucking warm. And I was like, if you'd have told me that, I would have gone somewhere else. And that's, you know, I felt like, but that happened a couple of times. I felt like I was being knocked, and I can't get my head. I don't understand the logic between, like, you've got a fridge, like, turn it on, like, keep the drinks cold, like, Jesus Christ. But yeah, it happened to me a couple of times. I go up and say, "Oh, your drink's cold." It happened 3 times, I think, twice at a food van, once at an ice cream van. I was like, "Are your drinks cold?" And they go, yeah, ice cold. I'd pay for them, and then they give me the drinks, and as they give it to me, they go, "I know, a bit warm." And I'd be like, "I just asked you if they were fucking cold. You took the money now." So that annoyed the hell out of me.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I think that was one of the biggest struggles of the weekend, was related to the sort of non-alcoholic drink part, which brings us to this then, because I think this is an important thing for us to cover, even though I don't think we have quite the same experience a lot of people did. And that's not the sort of say just because we didn't have the problems you did, that your problems aren't valid. Completely understand and all that. But ultimately, one of the biggest bones of contention that I've seen online comes down to Bloodstock's water supply, the free water and aspects like that. Now, there are things that I found out after I missed. I wasn't aware that you could get free water at the bar. I wasn't aware of that at any point.
Right.
And that fascinated me, because it's like, oh, I wonder, like, that would have been really useful for a lot of people to know. I think that should have been cool for people to know. But obviously the water points that you have in the arena, there's one in the VIP that we'd often fill up in. At times it was quicker for us to avoid the queue in the arena and just walk back to VIP and fill it up. But I realized that luxury is not available to a lot of people. From what I saw, a lot of the times, it looked like the queues were quite long. I don't know. People seem to come up with fixes that sound so simple, but all I keep coming back to it, is that possible? Can you do that plumbing in short notice? Is it this a problem? Will it create problems of pressure and stuff like that? So I don't know what the right or wrong answer is.
But I saw a lot of comments like you just said about going back to the VIP. I also saw many comments saying, well, I never joined those queues once because there was also a water supply in this camp and that camp. And it was quicker to do the 30-second walk back to the camp, fill up, and then come back. So I don't know how. I felt like the water problem was more exacerbated by the fact that maybe people weren't always aware where it's a typical Bloodstock thing, to be honest with you. It's signage, it's whatever, you know. So like, you know, maybe if people are aware, like, actually I'm in this camp, but right next door to me, just there is another water point that I can use freely, and it's always fucking empty. But if you don't know they're there, like, you just go to the one where you see a queue, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, we didn't know about behind the bar either, but we found out early on because, again, I guess it's because we're VIPs and all that, you know. Obviously, that must be the difference. But when we went to the bar, one of the early times, Gemma had a big bottle of water that was nearly empty, and I went and we got 2 beers, and the lady behind the bar said, like, "Do you want me to fill that up for you? We got like a tap back here."
Oh, cool.
So we didn't know like until that point, but because she offered, then anytime we wanted water, we would just go in there and say, "Oh, can you mind filling that?" And she'd fill it up for us. So.
There was one point about midway during the Sunday where the water supply in VIP stopped, but again, it never felt like a big issue because we weren't desperate at that point. We were like, oh, we'll just come back. Then we came back like an hour later and it was working fine. Actually, had stronger pressure at the point as well. So like I said, I mean, it is one of those things where I understand why people are unhappy about it or from their experience and all that. I don't think it's as prevalent as it might sometimes seem online on Facebook and things like that. You know, there is a certain level, and I'm going to say something, and I know it's a controversial thing to say, there is a certain level of look after yourself, like pay attention to your own needs and don't expect everything to be handed to you on a plate as much as possible. I do think that's important. And that's going to lead me on to the next thing as well, which comes down to shade. Now, obviously, Bloodstock said it was going to provide some extra shade. It did to some degree. Why it was camo nets, I have no clue. That seemed weird. It was 2 specific spots, but it was provided. Now, I've seen lots of debates and arguments about more and where they should be positioned. And all I keep thinking is, how? Why aren't you just creating areas for people to sit under, watch music, and never move? Because that's what happens anyway. That's what you're creating. But also, if you want to stand further back, you've now got this fucking tent in your way. I don't quite follow what people wanted or how they think they could fix it based on the site.
No.
But what we'll come back to is get rid of the fairground rides and make that whole thing. But they're not going to do that. So let's stop fucking asking for that. Clearly, that's not going to happen. I never made use of the shade area because they're always busy anyway, like truth be told. The heat was a problem for me, just like everybody else. I struggled the most inside the tents than I did outside more than anything else. But I'm struggling really hard to see what more Bloodstock could have done.
Yeah, I guess, right. And I don't, right. I've got a few different points on this, right? So, and none of my points are factual. They're all opinion.
Of course.
So firstly, I think the biggest issue with Bloodstock was that they said that they'd done a lot. Now, they didn't do a lot. They did some stuff, and it might have been all they can do, and that's absolutely fine. But I remember seeing stuff like, there's going to be loads of water points. There's going to be water points in the car parks for where people, or water points in the queuing places and all that. None of that stuff existed. And the problem isn't that they didn't exist, because actually you can get by just fine. The problem was that if you say you're going to do something, you're going to be called out if you don't do it. I think the camo thing is quite standard, actually. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Camo is used quite often for shade. And the reason being is because air passes through it.
It makes sense, yeah.
Put a big heavy tarp there, you make a sweat box. And then when the wind starts gusting, and there was not much, but there was some gusting wind.
True.
At little points, that whole thing is being pulled around and, you know. So I actually think camo is quite a common thing. And I didn't use it either, but I did see a lot of people using it. I don't think they were sitting under there because they had no shade. I think it was just fine. I think it's people that probably weren't using it that are looking at it going, "No, that's a stupid idea."
Yeah, fair dues.
If it was burning hot underneath there, people ain't all crowding in under there trying to eat their food. But do you know what I mean? It obviously worked to a degree. And the other thing is like, and I know you'll agree with this. I'm sure many people will agree with this. we have to keep in mind the fact that this was a heat wave, right? It was a 3.5, 4-day, 5-day heat wave or whatever, coming off the back of a long, dry summer. You cannot replumb, reconfigure, redesign, change a whole festival on the basis of 4 days of heat.
Yeah.
When next year it could be pissing down rain. You don't know. I know this isn't like fucking climate change tonight or anything like that. That is all like belief, but it's not always going to be burning hot the 4 days of Bloodstock. So how much do you change in the layout of your, like, do you get rid of the fairground and put huge shaded areas, which like of loads of camo, which are going to do nothing for when it pisses down rain all Bloodstock long? Or when the wind is so strong that it's pulling up all your shade. You know what I mean? You've got to be realistic about the snapshot of time, haven't you? And say that, you can't. I wouldn't, like, we've had a hot fucking. It's been a heat wave here, like for all of us, for what feels like too long. It feels like I've been hot forever, and I just want to be cold. Just once. I haven't decided to rip out all the insulation from my house and build shaded areas in my garden, because I'm aware that this is a passing thing, and that's it. I don't understand what people expect. Like, and I know it's not everybody, but some people. Do you really expect Bloodstock to dig up roads and put plumbing through so there's a water point in the VIP car park?
Mm-hmm.
You have to cross a fucking road.
Well, there was a fucking tap in the VIP car park anyway. So if you missed that, there was an actual tap there as well.
But you go like I don't know the ins and outs of running the festival. I have an idea on some of it, but I don't know the ins and outs of it. I hate the fairground. I think it's a waste of fucking time, a waste of money, and it gets it on my fucking nerves. I much prefer the idea that I've seen a lot of people bounce around, which is like, well, let them be there, but tell them to turn the fucking music off. And I like that idea a lot. The reality of it is like, I imagine they pay a reasonable sum to have that pitch.
Yeah, I think so.
And I imagine that's money that Bloodstock I would prefer not to do without.
Of course.
And anytime you take out a revenue stream and you replace it with a cost, so their revenue and putting up nothing but benches and shade is a cost, you hurt the festival.
Yeah, of course.
You know how we can cover that off? We put the ticket prices up again and again and again to build all your shaded areas. Like we have to find our level where we're like, we're okay with this. Like, we can live with this. I thought there were some things that were phenomenal. I had a lot of complaints last year. I had a load of complaints last year. And I thought that a lot of them got addressed, whether it was the cleanliness of the sweats. I really thought the benches outside some of the food place, those sort of, I don't know, like cross-shaped almost.
Yeah.
Fucking brilliant. I sat at them loads of times. Got my food, sat down outside the food place, ate my food there, even in the sun. But it was just nice to be off your feet for a minute, isn't it? And then went and put my food waste in a bin, and then went off with my day. And I was like, that's brilliant. I remember complaining about it last year, going like, why can't we have some fucking somewhere to sit down? Maybe we stop throwing rubbish on the floor in the New Blood tent if you gave us somewhere to sit down and eat our food.
Yeah.
Somewhere to sit down and eat your food. So, overall, I think people have to be careful about overreacting about a potential one-off thing, which is this extreme heat for the whole length of Bloodstock.
Yeah, I echo everything you're saying there. It's how I feel as well about it. I use this weekend, the time I'm currently recording this, it's Friday night, and it's kind of like, although it's still warm, it's not what it was the last weekend. So had Bloodstock taken this weekend, we'd have all been a lot happier and aspects like that. And you're absolutely right. The unpredictability of the British weather means we already are laughing. We're all laughing and joking, being like, yeah, next year it'll probably be torrential rain and we'll be splashing around in wellies. It was a unique environment. I agree with you. I think Bloodstock can only do so much. I saw a lot of people taking, like I said, their own personal responsibility, whether it be using umbrellas, covering yourself with suntan lotion and hats, and just trying to be as smart as possible and things like that. I think the massive, loud voices are very loud about detracting and stuff like that. And I think some people had some issues, and for that, that's so unfortunate. It was incredibly hot, and I'll tell you now, I'll admit to this, when I was putting a tent up, there was a point where I felt faint and I had to stop. So, do you know what I mean? It happened to me as well. So yeah, it's not that your criticism or arguments aren't valid. It's that we don't necessarily agree with them because we see it from, this was our experience more than anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I just think it's an overreaction. That's all it is.
Yeah.
I understand, if people had issues in it and all that sort of stuff. I do get that. That must be harder. I to be honest with you, I would take. Obviously, if I had a perfect choice, I would have it cooler.
Yep.
But if you were going to say to me, like, you can have it pissing down rain or you can have this, I would take this all day long.
100%. Yep, I agree with that. As crazy as that might make us sound, I agree with this. Give me the warmth and the heat over pissing down with rain. I find that even more exhausting and just downright miserable. Other aspects then, kind of generalizing, that I really want to praise, because I feel like we're really positive about this one. The Cups collection scheme was genius. It's nothing new. Dino's been doing it, has done it for many years in the past. Bringing it to Bloodstock was very, very clever. It was very cool to see lots of people, whether it be kids going around and collecting them to try and earn a t-shirt or a spot on the side stage, or just people trying to get their free beers. Cool. Only thing I'd say, make all the cups branded, because if like giving me like on brand, like vodka Red Bull ones that weren't part of the collection thing, as far as I'm aware, unless they could be counted. But it seemed like, so I mean, like that meant that the bin situation was much better, much more clearly signed than it was previously. It was a bit clear for where I should put my rubbish into which bin.
Yeah, it was better. The only thing that I would say on the bins, like, you have like a bank of like 6 or 8 bins, and they weren't like, and that's such a stupid thing to complain about. But you go to one bank and it's like plastic, food waste, but no cardboard or paper in this one.
Right,
like, there's no bin
waste
for that. And general waste. Then you go to another bank, and this one would be general waste, cardboard, and plastic. And it was like, so I can empty my food in here, and I want to do it properly, you know. So I'll empty my food in here, and then I got to walk to the other side of the arena to find the one cardboard bin. It's like, just put the same fucking 6 bins in every single slot.
Yeah, I thought that was weird as well. I remember saying to Lou, like, that point and going, like, standing in front and going, why does this look different to the other ones? What's different? Like, why have it not 6 banks of the same?
It's like, put a bit of general in there. I'll put my plastic bottle in there. I'll put my food waste in there, and I'm left holding a paper plate. And I'm like, where do I put this? You know, and I thought, oh, they haven't got any cardboard bins. So I put it in the general waste one, thinking, oh, that's a fucking shame. And I walk past another bin later, and this time I've got a cardboard, a food waste, and general waste, but I've got nowhere for my plastic bottle. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, just be consistent, man. Just put like a bin of each type at every bloody bin and be done with it.
These small niggling things sometimes. But on another positive, the toilets in the main arena, from the ones by the New Blood to the Sophie stage and all of that, I was very happy with them. I never went at one that was disgusting. I never went at one that was terrible. I never queued. It felt so much more chill than it was last year. I'm cool, and yeah, I thought it was cool.
Yeah, I never use the toilets outside of VIP or outside of Surf and Slayer. So.
Fair enough. But the bars, what about the bars? Did you use Lemmy's, Sophie's, and New Blood?
I didn't buy anything at the New Blood, I don't think, at any point.
Yep.
I did buy a drink at Lemmy's, which was fine. The queues are a bit slower there, but there's more people there, so you know that's what it is. And I did buy a significant amount of drinks at the Sophie tent, and that was all fine. I guess the bars themselves are fine. I thought they were generally staffed quite well with enough people. There's not a lot of people behind those bars that actually know what they're doing, which can be a bit of a problem. I'm not a bar man, or like I don't understand the logic behind how beer comes out of a keg or anything like that, or you know, like pipes and shit like that. I see people say that a lot of the problem with the drinks was to do with the heat,
right?
So,
yeah,
like, cups of froth basically. You know, but I don't know if that's a fact or if it was just like, I watched some of the people pouring like drinks, man, and they're just like pouring it straight into it. Like I know myself, every time I've ever bought a pint, they pour it onto the side of the glass, like, and just do that. So there was a little bit of it which I think is amateurish, and like obviously they're volunteers and they're doing their best and they're all lovely people and friendly and trying really hard, which is absolutely great. But you know, give them some support, man. Like, I have a couple of fucking experienced people back there to help them out. I guess the biggest disappointment I had with the drinking situation there generally was that row crew became old real quick. I'm not gonna lie, you know, it's not the most refreshing drink in the world. Temperature of the drink, like it kind of went through between, you got a nice cold one, the next time you got like one which was like drinking gravy. You know, a couple of times I went to the bar to get row crew and they'd run out, or they were waiting for it to be restocked or whatever it was, which I guess if you're sponsoring, you know, the festival, like, and then I can't go out and buy their drink, you know, it seems a bit odd. But the biggest complaint, the only real complaint I have is only once did I actually manage to get the second row crew, which is the Pilsner.
Oh, okay.
The more lager based one.
Right.
And that was at Lemmy's bar. And I got it and it was cold and it was fucking lovely, and it was so much better than the Row Crew.
Yep.
And then every other bar I went to, the Sophie tent didn't do it, Serpent's Lair didn't do it, and when I went back to Lemmy's the next time to get another one, I haven't got any more of it. We only had a small amount of it, and that was quite disappointing. I thought the other drinks fucking sucked. I was really disappointed when the main lager was Coors. Really disappointed because I really don't like it.
Didn't even look at it. I saw it and went, "Now it's Coors, isn't it? No chance."
Yeah, so last year I think they had one called Coltenberg or something like that, which was a really nice, refreshing cold lager. And that's when I went there and was like, I've had a few road crews now. I want something nice and cold and fizzy. And it's like they got Coors. You haven't got any of the Pilsner. I'll have another road crew.
Yeah, it was very much that. There was a point I got so sick of it that I did what I normally don't do. I switched to cider. I thought, let me drink some of this berry cider. Maybe it'll refresh me. It did up until like halfway through, and then it became really dry. And that was like, nope, can't drink that anymore. But yeah, like same with me. Just like I said, it's a more of a personal thing. Struggle to find a drink that was cold and I could effectively stick to and just enjoy all weekend. But I think that's a common theme at Bloodstock for us, where we struggle to find a perfect drink.
Yeah, and it wouldn't normally be so much of a problem. It was just that obviously because of the heat, the thirst was higher. You're desperate for one.
Okay, right. We got a few more things to touch upon, and I want to save one to last. So let's talk about merch last. Let's talk about the shops. Did you do much in the way of shopping? I walked past them, thought they all sucked as usual.
I mean, I ignored them absolutely completely until the Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And then we always do a little bit of shopping on the Sunday, but I don't go in there expecting to actually get anything. We go in there to try and pick up a couple of bits to bring back for my daughter. That's it. We tried to find her interrupters patch just on the off chance, but like trying to find a fucking patch in some of those patch shops, man, it's like it's not easy. No. So we gave up on that quite quick, and we picked up a couple of t-shirts and a few bits and bobs like that. Ain't nothing there for me. I looked around every single shop, there's nothing there. Even my missus, who's more than happy with some of the jewelry and all that sort of stuff, but there's nothing there for her. Like, we looked and we walked around and it's just like, there's no interest. There's a couple of shops that were missing. Like well, not that it bothers me because of my haircut, but there was a place that did all the dreadlocks and all that in the past, which she was quite keen to go to get some bits and pieces for her hair, but they weren't there. And the other one, which we usually buy something at, is that Heathen Waxworks.
Oh yeah,
candle place. Like, they usually do the Bloodstock candle. So we've got like the last couple of years worth of those Bloodstock candles. So we went to try and get that, but that weren't there either. Well, not that we could find it anyway.
No, I don't remember seeing it. Maybe jump online. Maybe just selling it online.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, the only other place that we went and spent money at really was, but not so much a shop, was the Sophie Lancaster tent.
Of course, Sophie. Yeah. I mean, obviously, I would sort of say my opinion, and I'm going to repeat what we actually said in the build. Something that we wanted to see, and we were talking about changes. The shops need a refresh. We need a serious refresh of these shops. Because I didn't think they were that busy when I walked past them most of the time, whereas previously it always kind of felt like some of them were quite packed. Really need a refresh of these shops, man, because they're tired. They're looking tired as fuck. Do you know what I mean? It really is.
I did just remember, actually, I did buy one thing in the shop. Myself and Gemma, we spent the most amount of money we spent probably in the shops ever at Bloodstock. So we paid 100 quid. And this was at the Guitarist. So this is the
right, Lou mentioned,
Yeah, so we were having a look at it because just looking in general, they had a lot of cool stuff on show, but a lot of it said sold. So and obviously they take handed in strings and bits of guitars and all that sort of stuff. They turn it into jewelry, and then you can buy it, and it says like the show that this stuff was used at. And they had a few there that were like really cool, but then we weren't at the shows, and it's like, oh, that ain't so special, right? They had like Cradle of Filth at Download in 2019 and a nice bracelet had been made out of the strings, but it's like, but we weren't there. Like, you want
to be there.
But one of the things that wasn't sold out there, it was like, oh, get that, let's just fucking do it. And it was Devin Townsend from the headline performance of Bloodstock the previous year. It was the previous year, wasn't it? Yeah, and it was like a necklace with like some bits from his guitar kind of in it. So yeah, we paid like 90 or 100 quid for that. We've got like the certificate of authenticity and it's really cool as well because it's proper legit. Comes in a nice box, and it also tells you Devon's chosen charity that the money will go to because they're a not-for-profit organization. So I thought that was like a really nice thing. So that place in particular, I've got I don't know, man. It's dangerous, like money. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's the sort of thing you look through the bands that they got there and the sets and the shows that they've come from. You're like, oh, was that one? Oh, was that one? If you had the money, you could do $1,000 in an hour. Like,
Yeah, because
do
that's
you know
what
what I
you
mean?
need to be there, because that's not like an impulse buy either. That's not an impulse buy shop at all.
Nah, nah. But you know, like, yeah. I mean, they were there. I think they were. What's the word? They were like, I don't know, demonstrating, like, you know what I mean? They were showing off some of their wares, but when you were talking to them, and they were very nice people as well, really, really nice people. They were very much just trying to show you. They brought a small selection of things that they were selling, but it was all about showing you, like, here's a booklet for the website, here's the stuff we got on the website, here's all the so it's kind of done by, here's the shows, here's the guy who handed in, what did he hand in, what do we make out of it, here's the price, and then you get, and here's the charity that the money will go to. So, like, you know, Devon's was for rehousing like stray animals or something like that. So, you know, quite Devon, I thought.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I'll just as a plug for them, I guess, like, you know, I think, like, you know, for a collector of like your favorite bands or anything like that, it's probably a sort of website or Facebook you just keep an eye on, because you might just see like your favorite band, like, you know, hand something into them from this weekend or whatever, you know.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Good plug. Absolutely. Quickly, I just want to touch upon a fairground rides in a different way, because I was drunk on Friday or Saturday night, can't remember, and we walked past them, me, Lou, and Dan, and I tried to talk Lou and Dan into going on the one that swings up really high. And Dan was being a chicken shit and wasn't going to go. Lou was up for it, but Dan wasn't. However, Dan was like, "Why don't you go on it?" And something switched in my head, and I went, "Okay, then I'm going to go on one of these rides for the first time." So me and Lou went up there and we're like, "Fuck it, go up there." And we said, "Yeah, we'll go on this ride, whatever." Bear in mind, no one else was on this ride at all. And she said £20. And I was sober enough, not drunk enough, clearly, to go, "What? £20? You're having a laugh? No thanks." I think I laughed and just went, "No thanks." And we walked away. We stepped off the little part of the ride. She came rushing out of the box and went, no, 16. And I just went, "Nope," because that fucked me off right there and then. It was like, "Oh, you just tried to rip me off. You just tried to lower your prices because you realized, oh shit, actually, they're not drunk enough to give me any money I asked for." And we were like, "Nah, not interested." Because £16, £8 each at a festival is probably fairly reasonable, I imagine. But like, after you tried to charge me £10 each, I was like, "Nah, not having it." So I wanted to drop that in there as well. Fuck the fairground. Absolutely fuck that thing. Oh my. Sounds on the stages. Quickly touch upon this. Obviously, we've discussed in another video some of the issues that the bands had, mainly, I think, related to the main stage. I never noticed anything in the New Blood, and I didn't really notice too much in the Sophie.
No, same. It was only on the main stage I noticed any issues whatsoever, and it was also, aside from whatever was going on with Dimmu, it was predominantly microphone based. It wasn't. I don't think I remember seeing any issue where, you know, the guitars were cutting out, or, you know, like problems with the drums or anything. It was just the mics. So I don't know what was going on there.
Even then, the issues never like sort of stayed throughout an entire set. It never ruined anything.
No, it was always fixed relatively quick. And like, I don't know if it's, the thing is, like, when the mic's in a stand, I can't tell if it's plugged or wireless. That's the problem. Yeah. Yeah, the issues that, like, very, very brief, but the issues Red Method had were with the wireless mic cutting out. The issues that Scarlet Riot had repeatedly, because they kept giving her a different mic, were all wireless mics. You know, I know Behemoth had no vocals for the beginning of it, but he'd obviously got his mic on stand, but that doesn't mean it's plugged. It might be a wireless mic in the stand.
True, yeah.
You know, so I don't know if it's to do with that. You know, maybe they're suffering from lack of decent Wi-Fi connection.
Yes. Holy shit. Bloodstock, man. Everyone, it's not the first time this is coming up, man. You need to do something about this, particularly when it's coming to things that bands pulling off. Because if you're not going to put them on your fucking screens, oh, Life of Agony pulled out, blah, 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 this band has changed. You're not going to utilize that to do it. You need to give people a way to get access to the phone, man. The fucking Wi-Fi. Oh.
Yeah, they made a fucking, this was a critical error. Right. I know that this is not the case, but I like to think that, you know, they obviously watched me complaining last year and they thought that's not a bad idea, because they did a thing this year where you could get access to the Wi-Fi if you bought a code. I don't know if that's been there in the past. I don't know. But whatever it. So yeah, here's the problem, right? In order to get the code, you get diverted to PayPal, but you haven't got the Wi-Fi yet. So if you've got no signal, you can't buy the fucking code. I tried repeatedly to get enough signal to buy the code. I could never get the code, so I could never get the Wi-Fi. It doesn't make any sense. So like, if you know you've got a signal problem there, then we can't buy the code because we need the signal to get the fucking code. And we can't get the signal because we need the Wi-Fi, and we can't get the Wi-Fi because we haven't got the code. We end up in a fucking loop of ridiculousness. So sell the code in advance.
Yep.
Let me, I like, you know, you can, I don't know. I know, like, obviously the risk of sharing and all that sort of stuff, but you can, there must be something you can fucking do with it, you know. But if I turn up there with the code already on my phone and I've already paid for it or whatever, and then I can turn up and then hook up onto the signal, and then it'll fire off my, put the code in, I'll put the code in or whatever. The code could be tied to my phone number or something like that. They could do that whole thing. It takes you through, put the 4-digit code in or whatever. There's things you can do about it. And then I can get the Wi-Fi. But I was getting so frustrated because I desperately wanted to talk to my daughter. I couldn't get a message to send to her. I couldn't get in contact with her at all. Whereas my missus on the same network, on the same fucking phone, was able to get through to her occasionally. It was really annoying me. And that's not their fault. Like, that's probably O2 more than anything else. But it was just the fact that, you know, this idea that, you know, we're going to give you that code and give you access to Wi-Fi. It's a really good idea. But if we've got no fucking signal and no Wi-Fi at the beginning, how do we pay for the code? Yep. And I was just having loads of trouble, man. So I was really quite frustrated with the whole thing. It's not like I understand it's a difficult thing to fix. Like, I do understand it's not easy. You can't just make O2 or bring like a load of masks or anything like that. You know, that's really, really tough. I get that. But it really makes a difference to my festival when I've got like a 10-year-old daughter at home who wants to hear the band, wants to hear from me and all that, you know, and I can't even message her. You know, like I was laughing with your missus, with Louise at one point, because I can't remember what day it was. I think it was like Sunday morning or something like that. We got like a message come through or something saying like, "Oh, Red Method is starting soon," or something like that, like from 3 days previously. And it was like, this is ridiculous. It's like, yeah, Sunday morning, like my WhatsApp goes off and it says like, I can't remember what it was exactly, but something like from 3 days ago saying like, you know, this is, we're going over here to see these guys.
Yeah, no, I completely, I'm with 3, and I have the patchiest signal all fucking week. I'd hit a certain point in the arena or whatever, and suddenly my phone was just going crazy because apparently it momentarily found a space in, and everything was coming in then, days old, that kind of thing. So that, you know, I completely get it as well. I don't know what the fix is either in that regard, but it, you know, it's a common complaint, so we're just adding a voice to it. And although I don't really want to end this video on a negative, because overall, I think it's one of the best Bloodstock experiences I've had to date, even with that heat, I wanted to leave this to the end because I'm sick of it. I'm fucking sick of it. And they need to listen to people. It's not just us. This fucking merch situation. That main merch is an absolute joke. I thought it was the worst it's ever been this year for getting shit put up. Putting fucking stuff up, trying to find out what sizes, watching this slow ass crew half-assedly, most time going, no, I ain't got it. And then finding out later when I spoke to the band that it was there and stuff like that. Oh my God, do something different because it's shit, poorly fucking organized. You're not doing these bands a favor when they're paying you to allow for them to fucking sell their merch. You're not doing anyone any fucking favors. Yeah, okay, you can't implement what we've suggested, what others suggested, which is swapping out one of the shops to just be a merch thing for smaller new blood bands. But if you're charging them to anyway to sell a merch, why can't you do that there? Why can't they pay for that? You know, that kind of aspect of things. I hated it this year. I bought the least amount of merch I've bought at Bloodstock because I couldn't fucking find anything, even though I know they were fucking there. Absolutely. And then tie that in, your stupid ass queuing system, crap way of giving us these VIP goodie bags is crap, don't like it, doesn't work, and you're really, really beginning to lack. That's a common theme this year. That's not just us, but man, you need to do better.
VIP bags, I haven't been there like 20 times or anything like that, but they are by far the worst goodie bags I have ever experienced. Like genuinely, if that's a perk of being in VIP and paying the extra money, then they're taking the piss. Yeah, to be honest with you. The t-shirt was terrible. You know, I'll never wear it. I'll probably use it as a fucking rag and clean my car with it because it's shit. Yeah. I've seen people put pictures of their t-shirts up with the print on almost sideways. It looks like they forgot, and they was like, someone run down Primark and buy 100 of these like plain yellow tote bag for £1 each. Let's ask that geezer around the corner if he can print loads of t-shirts for us. What else can we put? Let's put the lanyard in there because we've got to give them that. Oh, let's take the VIP bit off so it looks like a second thing, and then they can put it on there themselves. And it's like, really? That's it. So I feel like it's not my main reason for going to Bloodstock in any way, shape, or form. It's not my main reason for going VIP in any way, shape, or form. So it's not hurting me to that degree. But if people go there and it's like, oh yeah, we get the closer car park, we get the showers, we get the VIP Serpent's Lair area, and we get the goodie bag, it's not even worth counting that in there now, because to get that shit stuff, we had to queue for like an hour and a half, missing bands, absolutely ridiculous. To get a goodie bag, and then we open it up to just go, wow, really? That's what you think of us? Thanks. You know, if I'd have known it was like that, I would have said to the missus, let's not bother. It's shit. Just leave it.
Yeah, I just said leave it. Absolutely. Why the fuck are you asking for our sizes when we sign up and stuff like that, t-shirts, and then they're not already in the bags? So you've got them going, spending ages trying to find the right size for. I mean, good God, that organization was horrendous.
And then from the merch in general, we bought a couple of official bits, but mainly because, again, we buy our daughter one each year because she likes to have one. We bought the cups. We bought the cups again then because I kept losing them. But, it's one of those things. I mean, I left one at the Texas Smoker once because I walked off with a paper one. Then it was sitting down there eating my food, thinking, this ain't the drink I had. And I was like, oh, hang on, I went over there with a plastic one. Oh shit, no. I've took someone's drink. So sorry if anyone, if that was you, it was an accident and you got a plastic cup out of it, so you did well. The band merch, like, I'm the same as you. I don't know, did I buy one or maybe I bought two? It's by not even close to. It's not like, oh, this was the least I bought by one. I mean, as in, like, in other years I've come back with 10, 12, fucking 15 t-shirts. I come back, I think I bought one, maybe two, at a push, and that wasn't because I didn't want to. It was because either the bands had chosen not to bring them because Bloodstock are either charging them too much, taking too much of a cut for it to actually be worth their while, which is a worrying trend to get into. Hey, we help the new blood bands, but we charge them so fucking much it ain't even worth them bringing merch. So there's that side of it, and then the other side of it is, like you said, just the organization, man. Like, just trying to find a fucking t-shirt, anyone, just knowing what they're doing, just knowing that the bands even have stuff there, because that was the biggest problem. You just say to them, like, if this band put up there, and they just look at you, go like, who? And you'd be like, all right, well, you got all those boxes around the back there. And like, I found myself standing at the barrier of it, like, like just standing there for ages trying to see in the boxes that were like half open, because I'd be like, well, that t-shirt's different to all the ones up there. So what is that? That sort of thing, like trying to pick them up myself, but failing to, So I was very, very disappointed with the merch and the way it's handled again. I don't know. It's annoying, man. We're just like, like you said, we're not alone. There's a lot of people there waiting to spend money on these bands.
Yeah.
That's what you want to do. You want to spend some money. The bands are good. We go and watch a band. They're great. We go over to the merch, buy their shirt, go over to the merch. And every time I went there, I come back with nothing. I was just like, there's nothing there. There's nothing. There's like 400 Bloodstock t-shirts that all look like almost identical, but even half of them are sold out. There's Bloodstock hot pants. There's Bloodstock skinny leggings. There's Bloodstock fucking everything. There's all the headliner stuff there. Where's the rest of the band's merch?
Yeah. It's one of our biggest criticisms for the past couple of years, and unfortunately we're not seeing any kind of change. In fact, I think, like I said, it was at its worst this year for me personally, but we mean it in the best possible way. We want Bloodstock to improve this for the bands, for them, for everybody, kind of like to be able to spend some money and support the scene. That's why it matters more than anything else. But actually, I just thought we'll end a little positive, just a small thing. In regards to like the sort of themes that happened over the weekend. Didn't care about fancy dress and all that, but it was really cool to sort of see the pink on Sunday. Now, we're both, self-conscious people and shy and stuff like that, but even we tried, and Brendan picked up some nice little wristbands. A pink wristband I thought was going to do my head in. It was so comfortable in the end, I forgot. I got home with it and still had it on. Like, got out of the car, was like, still on. Oh yeah, that's cool. It's up there right now. It was really cool to see like the amount of pink t-shirts or outfits and pink going on. So it was really cool to sort of see that Bloodstock community can kind of get into it.
Yeah, and also little shout out to existentialists who did bring their own merch and brought their own pink band merch, which I saw untold people wearing. Good move.
Yes, it's to the Masters winners of this year. So that's our best and worst of Bloodstock. And to be honest, man, one of the most amazing things is I think it predominantly leads to best. Our small worsts are just niggling things that we think could improve the festival overall. But like this was, like I already said, I'm reflecting this almost a week later. Normally when the dust has settled, you start to reflect and think, oh, that wasn't so good or that wasn't so good. I still look back and think, no, that was fucking great. I'm really happy with that.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Yeah, I think like in really challenging conditions and circumstances, I think they did a phenomenal job. So yeah, well done.
And with that, folks, we draw a line under our coverage of Bloodstock 2022. You know where to go. Go to our YouTube channel. You'll find all our interviews and videos relating to it. Go to the website itself and you'll find the reviews and information there as well. We've already got some stuff up for 2023. Look out for more as the bands start coming in and we get reasons to talk about it. Thank you to everybody we met who stopped and talked to us, or even just the few people that complimented GBHBL who knew who we are. We're still stunned that even happens. It's an incredible feeling. Thank you. It was one of the most times where I felt so welcomed, and you know, that's as much because of the community as well as the vibe that Bloodstock gives off. Thank you for that. Thank you for watching. We're going to wrap this up. Yeah, let us know you got any thoughts in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Tumblr. Go to Patreon to help us out over there. That's patreon.com/gbhbl, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favor, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?